because, you know, I don't know if it's the age or what. So yeah, we are recording. So we are live now. So guys, how was your weekend? I liked a couple of people to talk about the weekend, you see, just to tell us uh, what you guys did during the weekend. For those of you, by the way, for those of you who don't know what's my email, which is a shame, I will just put it here just for you to know. And remember that if you want to remember my email, only thing you need to keep in mind is that I just hate my first name. So it's like my first name that I hate and the rest of the, you know, email. So guys, how was your weekend? What did you do on the weekend? Would you like to say something about that?
Yes, I want to say something.
Yes, Andres? We cannot
Well,
hear you very well. Like a little bit of interference. I don't know.
right now.
A little bit better.
Okay, well, on Saturday, I was studying, I was working,
Wow.
and I was alone sharing memes at home.
Checking memes. Oh, wow. Okay.
And on Monday,
On
I went to
Monday.
play soccer. Yes,
Sunday, I think.
Sunday, Sunday. Yes, Sunday. Sunday, I went to play soccer, and I was at home doing homework, and yeah, that was it.
Wow, I really miss playing football. You know, I really miss playing football. I'm right now. I'm not very good, to be honest, but it's one of those activities I enjoy so much, and it's been months, of course, since the last time I played. So I really miss that. Okay.
I was I was a little bit sad because one of my friends broke his his finger. I think I did.
Wow, my God, that's a
Yeah,
really competitive level
he
then.
was a goalkeeper, and then I don't know what happened. So he went to
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
hospital and he broke his finger. So that was
Okay. Nice,
it was
nice. Okay, that's nice. You see, it's like, you know what? That's something I was thinking about yesterday, and it's how somehow there are activities that were like very normal for us, like we could do pretty much whenever we wanted. But now it's been several months since the last time we did them. So if we can do those things, even if they are very simple, just like playing football, for example, if we can do it, that feels so good. You see, it's like we somehow value those things more. We now understand that those things are very important, right? So there you go. So thank you, Andres, for sharing. Is there anybody else who wants to say something about their weekend? Just to know the kinds of things we are doing. I mean, this is quite something, guys, because it's been several months in which we have been only, you know, in the house doing nothing. But now we have the chance to do a couple of things. So even if it sounds like a normal thing to say, those stories are actually special because we are basically telling each other what we are doing now that we can go out. You see? So I don't know if anybody else did something or what. Guys, come on, don't be shy, you know.
About the
Yes, Jose.
weekend,
Mhm.
I just work all the time in the sun, in the raining, a
Wow.
lot of raining.
Yeah, yeah, the weather was not very good on Saturday especially. So if you had to work to go out, well, yes. Well, but you can work, you say, so that's,
So delivery.
yeah, yeah, yeah. hmm Okay, guys. So in my case, as you know, I love motorcycles. I'm so into motorcycles, and on Saturday, this is funny because on Saturday I went with a friend of mine. We went to Guatavita my motorcycle, so we just went there, make some photographs and stuff. And I'm in a motorcycle club also. And yesterday they programmed to go there again. So it's like I went 2 days in a row to Guatavita. That was weird because I had never done that. But it's very cool because the road is so good. I mean, the conditions are very nice. So I just went there 2 times, like in the weekend. But that was really nice. I really enjoyed it. And yesterday I was super tired, so I slept super good because of that reason. So guys, I know that you don't feel like telling us about your weekends, but the point here, the question why I make this, the reason why, I'm sorry, I make this question was not just for chit chatting a little bit. And by the way, that's an expression that you may want to know. So chit chat, guys. You know what chit chat is? Chit chat. And I say chit, no shit, which is quite a different thing. You know what chit chat is? I'm gonna just write it here and I'll show it to you. This is quite American, I would say, this expression.
Initial private.
Look, guys, not exactly. So you know what chit chat is, guys?
Not yet.
No.
No, teacher.
No. Okay, so chit chat is just to have is what you may call also like a small conversations, like like small conversations about random topics. So that's for instance on Mondays when you see when you go to the university or when you see a person that you hadn't seen in a couple of days, you say like, hey, what do you do on your weekend? So we had this kind of conversation. You say, so it's like small conversations and random topics. Um, like sometimes people like the standard expression for that is it's an expression we don't use that much in Colombia, which is like cotillear. We don't use that here in Colombia, although that's Spanish. Instead of that, in Colombia, we would say hablar carreta, for instance, right? Like hablar carreta, or sometimes they say echar chisme, something like that, which is like to have these small conversations with friends, like casual conversations. So that's to chit chat. To chit chat is to have those kinds of conversations. So what I said is that I didn't make those questions just to chit chat, but also to somehow try to go over something we've said before, and it is the importance of being present. Remember, like this day when we started the session, and I said, like, guys, think about the percentage of your attention you are devoting to this class. It's like, how much are you here? And express that with a percentage. And you said like 90, 40, 60, blah, blah, blah. So the point here is that, as I said that day, it is super, super important to try to be present in every single thing we do. It's like to focus more on the present, basically. And that might be perhaps one of the lessons that we are learning with this experience this year, with this pandemic and everything. The importance of being present and the importance of focusing more on the things we do on a daily basis. So that's why if you have time during the weekend, if you can do something, you say, if you can just read a book or just watch a movie or go out for a walk, whatever you do, try to focus as much as you can on that activity because that's quite refreshing. You say like it's like sometimes we are like overthinking about the past or overthinking about the future, and that's not a good thing, to be honest. So it's really important to be very, very focused on what we do. So that's the reason why I made that question. So guys, as I said at the beginning, I would like to focus a little bit more on listening and writing. And also, as I said, I'll be sharing with you today a book which is a treasure, to be honest. And I actually have it here. But the thing is that, oh my God, it's been so hard to find this book. Look, it's this book. It's called Right to Be Read. It's a book from Cambridge University Press. Um, and this is a really, really good book. Basically, this book is about writing, about how to write properly, basically. So that's what we got here. So what we're gonna do today, basically, we're gonna be working on some exercises from this book. We're gonna get to know the book a little bit better. We're gonna do that, and by the end, just to close the session, we're gonna be talking about Animal Farm. So as I had a chance to read the reviews, to read the reviews you did, we're gonna have some comments about the book as a whole. So this time, like of course, we're gonna be talking a little bit about the last chapters, but what I would like to do the most about the Animal Farm is more like to talk about the book itself and the impressions you had on the book. Um, so yes, that's essentially what we're gonna do. So during this second term, guys, as we'll focus more on speaking and writing, in this second term, we will not read another book. This time we'll be like, let's say, consuming different kinds of material. So we'll be reading like little, like short articles and watching a little bit more like episodes of series and stuff like that. That's the kind of material we'll be consuming, but everything around writing. So we will be reading and writing a lot, like as a cycle. That's what we're going to do. And in the third term, we're going to be reading another book. So I'm working on that selection. So we'll be working on this book. This edition is this is the first edition, if I'm not wrong. It's a little bit older than the, well, it's a little bit old if it's, yeah, this is the first edition. So this is 1996. So it was really hard, guys, to find the PDF because, of course, I've been using this book. I used it when I was in the university, and I also have used it for during several classes. I've used this, the first chapters because it's just magnificent. But the thing is that it's really hard to find the PDF, just, you know, the PDF of the book of the second edition, which is from 2007, if I'm not wrong. It was just impossible. But I had the chance to find this one. So I've got here this PDF of the book. So I got two options. The bad thing is that this is a scan of the book. So so the quality could be better, but if it isn't, it is not that good. And the other bad thing is that as this is a scan, the file is a little bit heavy. So it's like 100 megabytes, which for a PDF is a lot. So I compressed the file, I compressed it, and I have another file which is 20 megabyte. So it's like I will share with you the two links. So I will share with you a link to the light version, let's say, like the light version, which is just 20 megabytes. And I will also share with you the other one, which is the big one, let's say. So in this moment, guys, I'm gonna share with you the link to the, let's say, light version, which is 20 megabytes. But as you'll see, the quality is slightly less. So that's the only bad thing about it. So I will share both links with you, and you can try to download both. So here's the link, guys, to the 20 megabytes version of the PDF. Okay, so you can perhaps download both and see the quality, and you can use the one that works better for you. So if the 20 megabyte version doesn't look very good, you can download the other one and use the other one, although it's a little bit heavier, as I said. So look, those two links that I just shared are links to the same book. But the first link, it's just 20 megabytes, and the second one is 100 megabytes. Okay, so you can download any of them. But the quality of the second one is a little bit better. You'll see that when reading, it's a little bit easier to read. So for instance, in this moment, you can download the first one, which is the 20 megabyte version, so we can start working. And later today, you can download the other one, and you can compare, and you can say, if you are using your computers, for sure, the best option is to use the 100 megabytes. But if you are using other devices that perhaps have a smaller storage capacity, you may want to download the 20 megabytes version. Okay, so that's it, guys. So we're gonna be using those two, that book during the second term, and perhaps during the third one also, to do our writing exercises. Okay, guys, do you have any question about it so far, about this book?
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Anybody else? Any question, guys? Any doubt about what I just said?
Me, teacher.
Yes, master? Yeah.
Wait, with this book we have to do the same inform or the
No.
same
Oh,
process like
that's a very good question, Juan. No, this is not part of the reading plan. Basically, this book, and that's what I said, guys. Believe me, this is a treasure. This book is so good. This is a book to basically for learning to write in English. So we will not use the book during the whole term because it's very long. That could be actually the material for a complete course, to say for sure. So this book basically has different explanations and exercises on how to write properly in English, how to write like in academic English, very high level. That's basically what this book is about. We could say that this is a course for writing in English, you say, for writing very well in English, I would say. So what we're gonna do with this book, this is, imagine that this is like a course book for us. So we're gonna be using this book for activities in the class and also for homework and so on, you see? That's our reference for that. But no, you don't have to do anything like what you did with the Animal Farm. No, this is a completely different thing. Okay. So basically, it's, imagine that you have these copies for the class, like copies for the class essentially. So every single class, I might say like, okay, let's do the exercise tal in the page number 20. You see, that's what we're gonna do. So guys, I'm gonna show you a little bit more about the structure of the book. So as you can see here, we got in the book 8 different chapters, you see? So we have eight different chapters. So the way they organize it basically is like every single chapter has a different kind of writing. So it's like there are some articles. So as you can see, there are articles on different topics. And then, well, and these are the articles, the ones that say here, main reading. And then there are the writing skills that you will develop in each one of the chapters, as you can see. So, for instance, we're gonna start working in the first one, and the skills are paraphrasing sentences, writing paragraphs with topic sentences, and identifying parts of sentences and correcting fragments. Those are the skills, you see. And then also we have a core writing assignment. So it's like what you would do in each one of the chapters. So that's why I say this book is just excellent, because there is a main reading. So there is an article that somehow, you know, sets the tone for the rest of the activities. There are also some skills, writing skills, and there is an assignment. So it's like paragraphs, essays, and stuff like that. Okay, so that's essentially how it works. So guys, I'd like to know if you already had a chance to download the PDF. Do you already have the PDF in your devices?
Yes, teacher.
Excellent,
Yes, teacher.
guys. Great. Hmm. So, let me see, wait a minute. Here also in this preface, you will find the format of the book. So this is something you can check later. So you will see exactly what we have. So it's like this is the structure of the chapters. So it's like very standard, and I also like it because it's very well organized. So as you can see here in the first chapter, the topic, I mean the topic they are going to be developing here in the book, it's birth order and how your place in the family affects who you are. So that's a very interesting topic actually. I find it very, very cool. So guys, here in the page number 2, we already find some exercises, and that's what we are going to do. Okay guys, so this is something you can do on a Word file if you want. Initially, this is an individual activity. So what I would like you to do, guys, is to work on this first exercise, which is super simple. So what I would like you to do is what we got here. We are going to make a list of the children in your family, and by your family is not like your whole family, because we know Colombian families tend to be super big, but I mean your immediate family, what they call it, nucleic family, right? So that would be just your parents and your siblings, right? That's it. So you're gonna make a list of the children in your family. So for instance, if you have 2 siblings which are older, so for instance, you would put the names like, for instance, in my case, although I have so many siblings, so it's like Camilo, Fabian, and then David, you see, because I have 2 older friends, for example. So you would put the names of them, and also yours in the order. So 1 would be the older sister or brother, then 2, the next one, 3rd, the next one, 4th, the next one, if that's the case. If you are the only child, well, you would put just your name. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes so you can do this exercise. Okay, that's it. That's essentially what you have to do. Please. Okay, guys. So I suppose you already did this part, right? Right, guys? That was a piece of cake, by the way. Hello?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, guys, don't ignore me, please. I'm quite sensitive sometimes. Okay, guys, so I suppose you've made your your list by now, right? So that's it. We just need to know exactly the order. That's what we need to do now. But now we have a list of adjectives here, as you can see, and there are adjectives and phrases, which is a difference, and that's something we're gonna see this week. Exactly what's the difference between a phrase and a sentence and a word? That's something we're gonna be discussing later. But now, guys, this is what I would like you to do, which is very interesting. So if you get that list of children in your family. So let's say you have two siblings, one brother and one sister. What I would like you to do is to write in front of the name of that sister or brother. I would like you to put the phrase or adjective that describes them the best. You see. So, for example, I've got a brother whose name is Camilo. He's one of my older brothers. So if I have to do this exercise and I have to choose one of these adjectives, I would definitely use confident. I believe he's a quite confident person, you see? So that's the only thing I would like you to do. Just to give the best adjective, the adjectives that describes your sister or brothers the best. Out of this list, it has to be one of these adjectives in the list, and it has to be only one, the one that you believe this is the best example. And of course, you would also include the adjective for yourselves. So for example, in my case, I believe this is one good option. Sometimes lonely, I would say, or responsible, I believe. Just like you would also put an adjective to yourselves. Do you understand what you gotta do, guys? Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teacher,
Ex-
can you, like, okay, can you give me other, like, definition of tail? I think that is the pronunciation.
Yes, tattletale. So a tattletale
Okay.
person. This is what we all. Well, this is not something we'd say in English, but in Spanish we use an animal to refer to that. So, and the animal we use for that are frogs or toads, frogs. So it's like, for instance, let's say you have a brother, and perhaps your parents left and you were left alone in your house with your brother, and your mother said like, Ana Maria, don't forget to Maria Alejandra, don't forget to pay the bills in the afternoon. See, and then you forgot it, and then your brother says, I'm gonna tell mom that you didn't do that. You see, I'm gonna tell mom that you didn't do that. You understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So that's what we call like a sapo, right? Basically, that's how we call people who are like that. People who
Or
are.
el chismoso, something
Excuse
maybe.
me. Excuse me.
Or el chismoso,
And it's not
no?
exactly the same, because chismoso could be a person who says lies also. But the tattletale is not someone who tells lies. It's someone who is who likes to get involved into things which are none of their business. You see. You see, so it's like, I'm gonna tell mom that you didn't do the chores. I'm gonna tell mom that you are just sleeping and you don't want to study. I'm gonna tell mom. So it's like, dude, shut up. You see, and they just wanna tell you off. Those are the, like no sea sapo, basically. That's a tattletale person. You see? So yeah, guys, we're gonna have around 3 minutes to do this exercise. So it's just put the name, the adjective or phrase right in front of the name of the corresponding child in your family, let's say. Okay, guys. So I believe that you already did this. So this is perhaps the most interesting part of this initial exercise, and it is comparing your answers with others. So we're gonna make groups, and in the groups, you basically are going to tell the others how you did the exercise. So for example, let's say I have two older siblings. Both of them are older, so I am the youngest child in my family, for example. So I would say, for instance, okay, so I'm the youngest child, and I have an older brother and an older sister. And my brother, for instance, who is the older, I believe he's quite parental, and my sister, she's a little bit independent. But in my case, I believe that I'm sort of a fast learner. I would say that's how I describe myself, and blah blah blah. You see, so that's what you guys are going to do, basically to explain that. And also, I would like you to try to find similarities. You see, So chances are that perhaps if you have similarities in the, let's say, configuration of your family, perhaps you'll see that the adjectives could be similar somehow. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna make groups right now, and you are going to share what you did, and you're going to see if there are similarities in your answers. Okay, is that clear, guys?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna make 5 groups right away. So we're gonna take around 5 minutes for this exercise, and I'll be also jumping in the groups. If you need me, just call me and I'll be there. So let's go. Okay, guys, so we are back in the main session. So as you can see now that we had the discussions, sometimes the configuration of our families can be very different. So it tends to happen sometimes that like we don't have the typical like mother, father, and children family, but sometimes we get other kinds of configurations, let's say. So some of us had to grow up only with our mothers, for instance. That was my case. My father never lived with me, and also some of us had to have lots of oh well, perhaps not lots, but we have several siblings, and they are perhaps just what they call half brothers or half sisters, right? So for instance, in my case, my younger sister, we are the children of the same mother and father. So it's like we share mother and father with my young sister. So in that case, I am the old brother in this family, let's say, you see. But my father has other children, a lot, to be honest. Yeah, he has several children. And in that, let's say, I don't know how to call it, but in that group of children, I'm not the older, and I'm actually one of the youngest in that case, you see? So it's like this exercise, when I did it the first time in my case, it was a little bit confusing because I don't know exactly if I'm the older brother or if I'm just a middle child or something. It was a little bit confusing. So now that you guys had this conversation, perhaps you had a chance to see also the difference we have. So guys, this is what we're gonna do now. This is what I would like you to please do in this moment. So as you can see here in the exercise B, we are expected to have a discussion, you see? So yeah, so in this case, we have 5 different statements. We have 5 different statements. And basically the only thing we have to do, you guys are going to do, is to say if you agree or disagree with these statements. Okay, so you guys are going to read the statement and you're going to write A if you agree or D if you disagree with those statements. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do in this moment. So please do it, and I'll try to find a way here to share those ideas.
Teacher, I am sorry, what is the meaning of bossy?
Excuse me, bossy. This one. Yeah, bossy.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so bossy comes from boss, so you can sort of understand. So a person who is bossy is a person who is always giving instructions, always telling how to do things, always giving you orders, you see? But sometimes in a negative way. So it's like this person always tells you what to do, how to do it, and he or she always is right according to her or to him, you see? So basically, someone who's always telling you what to do.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Oh, well, this is nice, actually. I like it. Did you guys finish?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Okay, guys, so if that's okay with you, we're gonna check sentence by sentence, and also we'll see if there is any vocabulary that we don't know. So here, the first one, older children in a family are often parental and bossy toward the younger children. What do you think? This is a very interesting one, right? This is perhaps quite obvious for some of you, but do not forget that children is the plural form of child, because sometimes we still see that kind of problem. So child is one, children is more than two. So guys, what do you think? Older children in a family are often parental and bossy toward the toward the younger children. What do you think, based on your experience, guys?
I put that I agree because my sister, I just have an older sister,
Uh-huh.
and she's like really parental. She tends to be like my mom, and she
Yeah.
takes care of me. And also,
Uh-huh.
she's actually really bossy. She's like, do this and whatever. And I'm like, no. So,
I
yeah, I
know.
put that I agree.
Yeah, I do agree. Okay, what else? Thank you, Tanya. What else, guys? I think there is somebody in the chat box. Jose says he also agrees with that. So yeah, and you know what? Like in my case, as I told you, I'm the older brother, sort of, in my immediate family. So I was a lot. I was very bossy just a couple of years ago. And but now I understood. I mean, I understood that my sister is my sister. She's not my daughter. So I started to change a lot of things, but I'm still very parental. And as I, give her most of the things she's got, so it's like I'm responsible for her. It's like we tend to be like that. We tend to be parental and bossy. So yeah, you know what? I believe we all agree with that actually. I believe we would say that would be like an agree because most of us feel that way regarding that role, I think. So give me 1 second. Let me just see if I can put it a little bit smaller, bigger. I'm sorry. Wow. No, I think that's just the standard size. Okay, guys. So now let's continue with the next one. Parents are more relaxed and less excited. That sounds sad. Parents are more relaxed and less excited about children after the first one. What do you think about that one? That might be a quite controversial point, if you ask me. What do you think about that one?
Yes, teacher, I think so. Is exactly correct. This word, teacher. Well, teacher,
Okay.
maybe teacher. I didn't have brothers. I didn't have
Uh-huh.
brothers, but when I was a child, I lived with my uncles.
Uh-huh.
And well, me and my uncles are very. I am the youngest. For example, I am the consentido teacher. I don't know the
Actually,
word.
look. This one.
Okay. The
Look,
spoiler.
look, Carlos, this is the word that you need. Spoiled. You are
Okay.
like the
Well,
most spoiled,
uh,
child, let's say. Spoiled.
it is.
Uh-huh.
And I agree with this formation teacher because the the, the teacher the word because teacher when I was a child I really different with my concept because I didn't have brothers and
Uh-huh.
maybe I have a short relation with brothers with my concept when I was a child. In this moment, no, but in the time,
Yeah.
yeah, this time, yes, teacher. I agree.
Okay. Okay. So it somehow makes sense, of course, because if you can imagine like a couple and they have their first child, so it's like they put so much attention on that little boy or girl, so they want to give him or her the best they can, and they are like super, focused on their child. But then as they have more, perhaps things change because they already had that experience. So I don't know. What do you think, guys? Do you think this is true? Number two, guys, the rest of you? Don't know. Don't want to say anything because you're not quite right about it.
Well, maybe I agree with that, but maybe I think that is not less excited. I
Mhm.
think that in some cases is not. Because, for example, in some families, the first child is a boy, for example, and then is a girl. So in this case, the family will be very excited because I don't
Yeah.
know the family is like boy and girl. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
think that
Yes.
is not less excited, but
Mhm.
maybe they are more relaxed. I think that yes.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yes, I agree with Lena. Thank you very much. I agree in that sense. It's not less excited because you know what they say, and this is something that I've always felt that is so funny. When my mother used to say, like, I always wanted to have the couple, like a couple, like la parejita, right? As if we were, I don't know, like pets, like cats or dogs or something.
Yes.
Like it's como, quiero tener la, es que quería tener la parejita. That's super funny. It's like if she was thinking about having pets or something. But that's something that happens a lot, right? That couples want that. Yeah, Tatiana says that that happened to her as well. So in the case of my mother, she had me, and then 11 years later, she had my sister. So she was super happy because she had like a boy and a girl. You see, so that's how it works. But of course, they tend to be more relaxed, and that's for sure. So yes, that's a tendency. It's not all necessarily true, but I would say we can agree with this one. Although keeping in mind what you guys just mentioned, what Lina just mentioned. It's not necessarily less excited, but more relaxed. Number three, older children are more responsible because the younger siblings depend on them. What do you think about this one? So perhaps as older children, some of us had to take care of our little brothers and sisters, right?
Me, teacher.
Yes, one, yeah.
I think that in some cases it's is not true this because I know many youngest children that are more
Younger.
responsible. They are
I'm sorry,
younger
younger.
children
Uh-huh.
that are more responsible than the elders or
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
older one because and for this I disagree of this
Mhm.
because of this.
Yes, yes. Somebody else, guys? Guys, somebody else
Uh,
wants?
Me, teacher.
Yeah, Carlos, yeah.
Uh, I agree. I agree with the partner because it's obviously that the older children more responsible or have more responsibilities from difference to the younger. And maybe I imagine that the older have a more independence for other things. Maybe teacher.
Well, yes. Well, I don't know. Like, I somehow understand Juan's point, and I say, like, well, there should be a tendency that somehow older children should somehow be more responsible because they have to take care of the younger siblings. But that's not always true. That's not always true, as Juan says. Sometimes younger children tend to be a little bit even more responsible. So, for instance, in my case, I believe I'm a responsible person. That's something I believe. But I believe sometimes that my sister can be more, even more responsible. And she's been quite spoiled, you see, because I've always took care of her and my family, and she's like the youngest child in the whole family. But she's a very responsible person. So I understand Juan's point. It's like not necessarily, but also being the older child gives you also some, responsibilities, and perhaps that's the reason why they say this. Also, guys, be careful, please. Be very careful with this expression, guys. Siblings. Remember that in Spanish, whenever we want to pluralize a noun, we use the male form, la forma masculina, right? So if there are niños y niñas, the standard is saying niños. If there are like perritos y perritas, the standard form is perrito, right? So we always use the male form. Although I know that there are some discussions about lenguaje inclusivo, and I will not talk about that because I don't know. I couldn't say like les personas and that kind of stuff, but that's a whole different thing. The point is that in English we don't have that as we don't have gender. So in some cases we have completely different words. So this is perhaps one of the words that I've seen people uses the least. This one, siblings. So sometimes people just don't use it, siblings. So remember that siblings is both brother and sister. So whenever you want to refer to your sisters and brothers, if you have sisters and brothers, then use the word siblings. You would use only sisters if we have only sisters, or brothers if we have only brothers, boys. But on the other hand, we would use siblings. Okay, please don't forget that. Number four, guys, the youngest child is often spoiled because of all the care and attention he or she receives. Okay, guys, so what do you think about that one? Number four. Here I would say disagree. What do you think about number four, guys? Remember what spoil is? Remember what
Yes,
spoil is?
I disagree, teacher,
Yes, why?
because in my case, I don't care if I receive attention or not. So
Huh?
in my that is talking about myself. So I disagree because of that. I if I receive, if I don't receive, it is not important for me. So I am disagree for that reason.
Okay, but in your case, are you the youngest child of your family?
Yes, I am the
Okay.
youngest.
Mhm. Okay.
So
So yes, I know it's kind of hard because, but because that's not a reason, right, to be that spoiled. So if a spoiled person, remember, guys, this adjective spoiled means like, um, I will use the translation this time. Spoiled basically in this context is consentido. In this context, spoiled. You see, but you have to be very careful because this adjective in other contexts can mean something different. So, for instance, if you say the food is spoiled, the food is spoiled. No es la comida está consentida, sino la comida está dañada, se dañó. Okay. So, spoiled in the context of food means like in bad state, or like spoil. That's basically spoil. But when we use it as an adjective for people, it means different, something different. It means like consentido. Jose says that he is the middle child, so he's the forgotten. That's a very interesting point, right? That's a very interesting point because several people say, I've heard this from several people as well. So well, in this one, I agree with Felipe, with Andres. I disagree. I believe it's not absolutely true. And the last one, guys, number 5, in most families, there is no competition among the children for the parents' love and attention. What do you think about that? Like children never compete for their parents' love and attention. What do you think? What do you think about that one? Number 5, guys. Hello? Guys, come on. Number 5, who wants to say something about it?
I think that it's not true in some cases. I never seen that in my family or in another family that they have a competition
Uh-huh.
for this. I never see that.
Okay, that's the case of Juan, but what about the rest of you guys? Should I have to start choosing you out of... Okay, so as you guys want me to choose you, I will.
Teacher,
Yes, Carlos, please.
teacher,
Uh-huh.
maybe, well, teacher, I try to explain that because, well, I didn't have my brothers.
Uh-huh.
But teacher, for example, I saw one of my cousin teacher, she have a brother, and she told me, oh, well, if we go to the house, maybe I see a short competitions with the favorite children, the favorite son, maybe, or no, my mom love me more than you, or some things. Maybe teacher in some families are a short competition for maybe the love for the parents or maybe to clean. I think so.
Yes. So you know what? I would say, in my opinion, I would say that I agree with this one because it's not like a really bad competition, but somehow um, like children tend to compete somehow for their parents' love and attention. They want to somehow stand out. You see, they want to remember this adjective, guys. Look at that. So. So guys, this one, look, stand out. You guys know what stand out is? Don't you guys know?
No, teacher.
So to stand out is to basically
Teacher,
to
we don't see the word.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second, and I will share my screen, my full screen. So this is the verb, guys. Stand out. So stand out basically is to I don't know how to explain that. Well, I will use the translation this time. Sobresalir, guys, stand out. So sobresalir. So sometimes children they want to stand out. They want to look different, to look special. So sometimes there might be a little bit of a competition between among children. Um. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's see what we got here. Give me 1 second. This okay. gonna continue here. Oh, we had more sentences actually. I hadn't seen this. Okay, so we got 3 more, guys. So, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so here, number 6, guys. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Uh, so we get number 6. When there is a fight between an older and younger sibling, parents will usually take the side of the younger one and protect him or her. What do you think? And this time I would like to listen to Brian, if that's okay. Brian, would you please give us your opinion about this one, the number 6?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, thank you. Number 6. What do you think about that one?
Well, according to my experience,
Uh-huh.
I think that I'm not sure, but I think that it depends on the parent. I mean,
Yeah.
depends on the because, for example, in my case, my dad is very like in the side of my younger brother, of my
Yes.
young brother, and my mom is in my side. Yeah, but I'm the oldest
Mhm.
brother, the older brother. Sorry. So for that reason, I think that depends on the parent. I don't know. I think that is true, and I mean, I am agree with that. But
Yes.
but but I think that is depend of the parent what they love more. Well, not they love more, but they are like more side of
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's not just like older versus younger, but sometimes like parents themselves that they prefer to support one or the other. And that might be sometimes a case of gender. It's like they would protect more the girl or they would protect more the boy. So that's very relative, I would say. And so yeah, I agree somehow with you, Brian. So number 7, guys, parents are stricter with their first children than with the later ones. That's also an interesting thing to say. And this time I would like to listen to Ana Maria. Ana Maria, buen día. Would you please give me your opinion about that
Yes,
one?
teacher. In my case, I'm disagree because my parents are stricter with my sister and me. We are two, and yeah,
So in your case,
they are stricter with both.
okay, so it's like you guys are 2 sisters, right?
Yeah,
Okay, and you believe that they are the same with both of you.
I'm the older. I'm the older, and my sister, and that's it.
Well, but there you go. It's like both of you are very young, so that might be a reason. Although you know what, it's not that actually that's not true. It's not just because you guys are young. It's like sometimes and even more when they have just girls in the family, they tend to be super strict.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
that
In
might be
this
a
case,
reason.
yeah, my parents are stricter with
Yes, 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 yes. So
she and me.
with her and with you.
Yeah, her. And
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? It's like in my case, I don't know if I want to have children. I'm not very sure, but for some reason, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this, but for some reason, I believe that if I have a child, it will be a girl. I don't know why. It's like a feeling I have. It's like I feel that if I have a child, it will be a girl. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I feel that. And when I think about that, it's like, wow, you say, it's like I need to protect her with my life. So sometimes, that the whole thing with gender has a lot to do with that. So the last one, guys, number 8, most children who are difficult and demand a lot of attention will grow up to be difficult people. This time I would love to listen to Ashley. Ashley, would you please give us your impressions about the number 8?
What is the meaning like grow up?
Okay, so to grow up is basically to get older and to get older. So it's like to grow up means that without the time you become an older person, you see? So that is to grow. It's like, to grow up basically. Like the plants also, they grow up, they become bigger, let's say. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So to grow up is to
I
become bigger and older. Yeah.
I think I agree about that because some child is very
Children, some children.
difficult. Children, sorry, is are very difficult and demand a lot of time or attention.
Yeah. And
But
when they become older, what happens?
I don't know. It's difficult because um, when he's is more young than the other sister or brother, it's more difficult. No.
Yeah, yeah. And the point here is that if you are difficult when you are a little child, if you are like you always have problems with others and you demand a lot of attention, when you are an adult, when you become older, perhaps you will continue being like that, right? That's essentially what they say here. Um, okay. So guys, now we're gonna go over the main reading. So basically what we're gonna do guys here, this is like a preparation. This is the exercise number C, the exercise C. So this is like a preparation for the main reading that we're gonna do. So what I'd like you guys to do is just to read this part. This is like an introduction to the article that you guys will read. So I would like you to read this introduction here like this. Uh, yeah, these notes on the main reading, and then we're gonna do a vocabulary exercise. Okay, so this is an exercise we're gonna do before we read the main reading. The main reading is going to be homework for tomorrow. So by now, I would like you to read this notes on the main reading, and then we're gonna do the vocabulary exercise. We're gonna see well, we're gonna see exactly what what this vocabulary means and everything. So we are ready to for the homework. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna give you around 5 minutes more or less to read this part, just this part. So that's what I would like you to do, just to read this part. And then we're gonna continue with the vocabulary exercise. Okay, guys. So we got 5 minutes to read this, and then we continue, please. Okay, guys. So I suppose you guys had a chance to check the these notes on the reading. As I said, basically these notes are there just to tell you what kind of article you will read. So as you had a chance to say, this is basically an article written by a psychologist, and as you'll have the chance to read also, basically what the article states is that according to your birth order, there are some traits or there are some characteristics of your personality which are developed based on that. You see, so that's basically what this notes say. So there you go. That's what we have there. So guys, now regarding vocabulary, so we have some vocabulary here that that we need to double check. So first, well, there are some initial words that I would like you to have a look at, but even more important is this glossary. So before you guys start reading the, the article, it is really important to keep in mind the meaning of these words. As you may remember, guys, when we started this semester, I suggested you guys worked on a like a glossary of terms in the book from Animal Farm, but that's something that you could do during the rest of the time. One very important thing of reading and writing a lot is how those activities can help you like improve your vocabulary tremendously. So whenever you read an article for the first time, for sure, you will see new expressions and new words that will be very useful for you to know. So this is just precious, guys. These vocabulary we see here, this is something we can also start using with your own assignments and everything. So guys, for tomorrow, basically what I would like you to do is to read the damn it, to read the article. Okay, that's the homework for tomorrow. So it starts here in the page number 5 all the way to page number 7. So it's just basically 3 pages that I would like you to read, okay? And once you read it, I'd like you to do this exercise that you have here in the exercise E, basically, okay? That's what I would like you to do, guys. So the homework is just to read these 3 pages, right? And then do the whole exercise E. So you will answer the main idea question here, the follow-up here, what's the main idea of the text, and then you will do these exercises, the exercises E. The exercise E, okay? So basically it's to answer those questions, and we're gonna have that tomorrow. We're gonna have a little discussion based on that. Is that clear, guys, what you guys have to do?
Yes, sir.
There you go, guys.
Yes.
Thank you. So it's just to read the article and do the exercise E, which is based on that reading. I'm really sorry, guys. You see the PDF is not perfect, but it was just impossible. I'm still looking for a better copy of it, but I believe that this one sort of works. Okay, guys, so that was it with this book for today. I'm very positive. I'm very sure we can enjoy this book and we can make the most of it. So yes, that's it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna open something here that we need to use. So guys, as I said, now what we're gonna do now is basically to talk about the Animal Farm, as I said. So we're gonna be making some comments about the book and how you felt reading the book. Also based on the structure that we had for reports, right? That's the way we're gonna do that. So guys, so as you may remember, we were reading, wait a minute. Ouch. Oh my God, where is it? I cannot see the cover here. Well, anyways, so we were reading Animal Farm by George Orwell. I really enjoyed reading your reviews. Most of them were very interesting, and most of them somehow like went to the point where we wanted to get. And I said, if you remember, when we started reading, I said that somehow the most important aspect, I believe, with the book was the allegory, to have the chance to actually get there, to understand the allegories in the book, and to understand how the author symbolizes certain historical facts via those allegories. That was somehow the most important thing, and that's something that you guys had the chance to see. And perhaps, and somehow that's what we can see in the very two last chapters, right? And in the chapter number 9, there are a couple of elements that somehow give us, the flavor of the book and the intentions that Orwell had with it. So, guys, let's try to make a little summary about the two last chapters based on these elements regarding the setting, the characters, the plot, and everything. So, guys, in general terms, what happens in the last two chapters of the book? What do you remember from the last two chapters of the book? Who wants to say something? Guys, come on. Nobody? Come on, you guys. Nothing? Wow. You guys are super shy today, extremely shy. We're about to finish, so you shouldn't be that shy. Guys.
Can you repeat the question, teacher?
Yeah, yes, I would like you just to have a couple of comments on the last two chapters, like what happens in the two chapters of the book. That's essentially what I would like you to discuss.
In the two last chapters?
Yes, of Animal Farm.
Well, that was as an event that was an uh, impressionant or awesome events because it was like a mandatory of the pigs or of I don't know what do you say dictadura.
Dictatorship. I'm sorry, dictatorship. I'm gonna write it down here.
It was a when all of the past chapters say end with the dictatorship of of Napoleon, and all of this ends animals with the animals don't know what's the difference between the pigs and the humans in the last chapters.
There you go. Thank you, Juan. That's exactly what I wanted you to get. There, I believe, in the two last chapters, well, there are lots of things that happen, but I would say that the two most shocking events in the last two chapters, I mean, there are two events or two facts which I believe are the most shocking. So there is no doubt that the one that you mentioned is the most shocking, and we're going to go over that in a moment. But before that, what happens with the commandments? Remember that at the beginning, when they somehow founded this animalism movement, they had certain commandments, right? They got 7 commandments, and then by the end, what do they do? What do the pigs do with the 7 commandments, guys?
They change some of them, some of it.
Some of them? You sure about that? It's just some of them?
No, some of it.
No, the point is that they actually change all of them, right? Do you understand? It's like they actually change all of them, and they change all the commandments that they had at the beginning, that the pigs started to betray themselves. They change it only for one commandment, which is perhaps one of the most well-known, famous quotes of that book. Actually, if we Google that, that's perhaps one of the most famous parts of the book. Sorry. Do you guys remember what that?
I don't know if the phrase I going to say is the same that you think, but I I remember that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Which I love that part.
Yes, Maria
That
Alejandra.
was so
Yes, yes.
excited.
Exactly. That's the quote. So it's just perfect, guys. It's like they got all these commandments at the beginning, like basically like if it walks in two legs, it's bad. If four legs is good. Animals don't kill other animals. Blah blah blah. So it's like there are so many different commandments which basically embody the ideals of animalism. And by the end, everything is changed just for one thing, and that idea of equality they had is very interesting, you see, because we know that these days all the governments, all the political parties, they talk about the importance of equality, the importance of granting each other rights, but at the end of the day, um, most of those political parties or movements share certain bad aspects, and it is that like it's like as if we said all of us have rights, but some of us have them more or something like that, basically depending on your social or economical status, you see. So when I saw that quote for the first time, that was I understand Maria Alejandra's feeling, because I felt that way as well. Like all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. That was just amazing, right? And the other, like the other moment or the other part, which I also find very interesting, is what Juan was describing a couple of minutes ago, and it is how all the animals are outside, but the pigs, of course. And as the pigs started to use clothes and to drink alcohol and sleep in bed, so they started to behave like humans, right? And the animals are outside and they see them. You see? So I don't know if somebody would like to talk a little bit about that image, which is the closing part of the book. Clara? Yep.
Teacher, the book is interesting and confused
Yeah.
because at first he starts Napoleon of hating humans, but later he becomes one of them because of his actions
Uh-huh.
and because he wore clothes. Um, the animals did many things
Mm-hmm.
to just maintain animals movement or movement animals, but Napoleon forgot that.
Yep, it's absolutely true. It's like, because it starts like like a fable, and it's just like the animals, and we feel like this connection with them and everything. But then Napoleon himself, it's like the most contradictory figure or character in the book, and then we know that when he started having this conflict with Snowball, somehow we felt that something weird could happen, something bad could happen by that moment. In the That's something we can clearly see by the end of the book, of course. So it's like these are the two statements, like the two things we were discovering, this talking, like all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That's the first part. And then, as you know, in the very last verses, the very last lines of the book are also very strong, which are this. Look at this. um, 12 voices were shouting in anger, and they were all alike, no question. Now, what had happened to the faces of the pigs? The creatures outside looked from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again. But already it was impossible to say which was which. You say that was wow, that was super hard, because it's like we start the book with this feeling that the animals have, that they need to defeat the humans, and they are different, and they will start a new movement and everything. And then things start to change, and basically what happens is that based on the previous idea, right? So they say all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than the others. Basically, what they say here is that what we believe is that pigs are more equal, let's say, and it's like they are connected among themselves, and they just care about themselves. So they didn't want to give animals certain rights. They just wanted to be like the humans. They just wanted to have the power, basically. That's what happens with the pigs, and that there is a whole transformation process we see throughout the book. And as Clara said, that's very confusing, you see. And Napoleon is a confusing character himself, because at the beginning there are these characters that we see as the liberators of the animals, and that's of course Old Major, who's like the like the founder of the movement, but also with Snowball and then Napoleon. But then things start to change, and we end with this. You see, this is the end of the book, and that's how it ends. So
Teacher,
yes, Clara, yes.
to me, oh, bueno, in my case, I surprised me when Napoleon forgot his moving animals and turned it into with
Theater.
into what he hated. O sea, o
Yes.
sea, what? Yo que como
Of course, yes, and that's the point. And as I said, like allegory was so important, because if we make those connections with our the history of our country, if we make those correct connections with political parties in the country and everything, we see that the story is not the history itself is not a way we have read it. So it's like there are so many different things inside, and this is very hard. And that happens also, I mean, that's a history of Colombia itself. We know that we got some heroes in the country, and that's a case of Simon Bolivar, for instance. We have always seen Simon Bolivar as a hero, but if we read a little bit more, we'll see that he was not such a good guy, actually. And I don't know, guys, if you know, but just talking about the case of Colombia, one of the regions in the country that resisted the wars of independence the most was Nariño. Like people in that part of the country, in that part of Colombia, Nariño and Pasto and everything, some of them were against the idea of the independence. And the stories that we can read from the wars of independence there in that part of the country are very interesting, not to say something else. So that's how those leaders sometimes become dictators, as we said here. So we got Napoleons everywhere in the world. You see, so it's like some people see them as heroes, but chances are that perhaps they also did something which is not very good. So yeah, guys, in general terms, this book is really interesting because of that, and that's something that you guys declare in your reviews very in a very smart way. How the book makes this parallel between not just a fable, but also criticizes the history of the Russian Revolution and the uprising of communism in that nation, but also how this book basically talks about the story, like this cyclic story, as some of you said, of human life. You say so how we try to create movements in which we say that we share something, basically creating enemies. And creating enemies is something that helps us create these connections among ourselves. But then as some reach the power, everything changes, and they just forget about their ideals, and they just do this crazy stuff they did. So guys, hopefully, I really hope you guys enjoy the book. um, Now, as we know, we're gonna read another
Teacher,
book. Yes, yes,
sorry,
Kiana, yeah,
I have a little question.
yeah.
Do you know or what the meaning of the date there, the November
Um,
1943?
well, I think that this is the the time that if I'm not wrong, this is the time that George Orwell took to write the book. I mean, this is the whole process of the book. And you know what? Actually, something that I found very interesting from Orwell's career is that he was. I mean, became famous later. Actually, he was not very famous back then. um, and that's, I think this is something, I don't know if I have it in some video or something, but if I'm not wrong, he wrote this book when he was in his 40s or something. So it's like, if we see the timeline of the life of Orwell, he wrote his most famous pieces by the end of his career. So that this is something very interesting, guys, because sometimes we believe that if we read a book, and which is a book which is very famous by a very famous author or something, it is because it's a person who's been writing since he was a little kid or something, and that's not the case of Orwell. If we read a little bit more about Orwell, we'll see that he actually wrote his most important pieces by the end of his career when he was already older. You see, and he started writing as a journalist, so he was into writing, but into writing novels, that was something a little bit different. But I'm gonna just double check, um, Janet, just to be super sure about these dates and everything, because I don't want to say something wrong. But I'm almost sure that this is the time in which he wrote it. Yeah, because look, the book was published August 17, 1945. You see, so it's like he wrote the whole book during those days. We could double check, but I'm almost sure that that's what it means. You see, that's the period in which he wrote that book. He started in November 1945. He finished in February 1944, and it was published in 1945. That's how it works. Okay, guys. So yeah, once again, guys, thank you very much for reading the book. I will try to choose another very interesting book for the third term. As I said, during the second term, we're going to be reading different things. We will not be reading like a book itself, because I want to have a different dynamic. I would like you to write a little bit more, as I said. But in the third term, we're going to choose another book, and hopefully it's going to be as cool as this one. So I don't know if Jose wants to say something because he just rose his hand.
Just
Yes,
sorry,
Jose.
I had internet connection problems
Okay.
a bit. But I wanna say that we as Colombian adore que give we venerate Spanish conquers,
Occurs,
and
yeah.
they kill our ancestors,
Uh-huh.
and we just venerate with statues.
The status. Yeah, I know. With all this crisis right now.
And
Yes,
that
I
is
know.
ignorant.
I know. But you know, the point here is that those situations are, and this is something we can learn from the book. So if we, for instance, if we say that, if we look at our history and we say, for instance, the Spanish were bad and the independentists were good. So it's like Spanish bad, Simon Bolivar good. That's not absolutely true. You see, it's like all of them were bad and good at the same time somehow, and that's something we can learn from the book. Because, of course, if we think about Simon Bolivar, it's like the idea that we have of him is that he was a hero and he liberated the country and everything. But as I said, that could be an optional homework for you if you read a little bit more about what Simon Bolivar did. I mean, the army of Simon Bolivar, what they did in Nariño, that's just incredible. And actually, there are people in that part of the country who don't like Simon Bolivar very much. You see, and basically because he killed so many people there. You see, I mean, lots of massacres there in the name of the liberation of the country. You see, and that's something we can see from the book as well. It's like they had this movement, and the movement looked just perfect, and the rights of the animals and everything. But at the end, it was not exactly like that. you see. So it's just about, being a little bit suspicious. So it's like if they tell you that there is a character in history which is almost perfect, just think it twice, because there might be some other things they are not telling you. And that's the case of some of the, important characters of our history. That's my point.
It's like Botzer says that Napoleon always had the reason, but
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
the end,
Yes.
he's
Uh-huh.
over flesh, like a meat fresh.
That's a very, very good example, Jose. Yes, that's a very good example. So it's like when and that's the situation with it in our case. You see, when we say we are Colombian, we are not African, we are not European, we are not indigenous, we are a mix of all of them. So all of those races are part of who we are, you see. So we cannot say that there is a part of our history which is entirely good or entirely bad. Not really, you see. So yes, I've always felt like that. So it's like happy of the fact of not being a part of Spain any longer, but at the same time that's part of our history. So we cannot say that we cannot, I mean, all of us are African, all of us are indigenous, all of us are Spanish, you see. I mean, we are that and more than that. So that's why we need to be very careful about the way we look at our history, because there, as it was the case of in Animal Farm, that animalism had a narrative. You see that that movement has had a narrative and had a way of presenting facts of everything, and the same thing happens throughout the history of our country. There have been like different ways of telling the story, and we need to be careful. You say we need to be careful, and we need to research, and we need to read a lot. So we have our own opinion, and we base those opinions. I mean, we make those opinions informed, which means that we base our opinions on facts, on things that we do. So yes, it's like we need to read more about Simon Bolivar, to be honest. I mean, he is a hero of for our country, of course he is, but we need to read more. So if you just want to Google that, just look. I mean, I don't have the names in this moment, but I will look for that information. I'll share with you. So just Google more about what Simon Bolivar did in Nariño, and you'll understand my point. So he became a little bit of a Napoleon himself back there. So you see, that's why I say the history is not the way we tend to think it was. Okay, guys, we are running out of time, so I'm going to call the attendance right away, so you guys can do other things with your life. So do not forget that tomorrow we get a little homework for tomorrow, just to read those 3 pages and do the exercise E from the book that I just shared with you, Right to be Read, from Cambridge University Press. So guys, let's call the attendance and we're good to go. So Brian Aguilera.
Teacher.
Ana María Buendía.
Here, teacher.
Andrés Felipe Bueno.
Here.
Angie Carvajal. Here. Jose Díaz.
Here, teacher.
Tatiana Espitia.
I'm here.
Yeritza Garcia.
Here, teacher.
Tania Gómez.
Here, teacher.
John González.
Here, teacher.
Santiago Hernández. Ashley Huesa.
Here, teacher.
Linda López. Not here. Johanet Martínez.
Present.
Clara Monroy.
Present, teacher.
Tatiana Bando.
Here.
Ana María Ortiz. I think she was. Dylan Páez.
Present, teacher.
Juan Páramo.
Present, teacher.
Estefanía Portugués.
Present, teacher.
Lina Rodríguez.
Present, teacher.
Daniela Rodríguez. Carlos Rojas.
Present, teacher.
María Alejandra Triana.
I'm here.
And Alejandra Velandia.
Me, teacher.
Okay, guys, so once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
See you, teacher.
Guys, by the way, remember
Thank you.
that I will upload the video, the recording to the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it, you just have to look for it there. Okay?
Okay,
Okay,
teacher.
Okay,
Okay.
teacher, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay,
Bye.
guys, have a
have a
good
nice
one.
day.
Bye-bye. You too.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.